Good evening. I would like to ask you first, how do you feel tonight? You know, we have a lot of new people here this time for this convocation. And I'm wondering what they are thinking after this outburst. They must think you are a very lively bunch of people, right? I want to explain for those that are new. Many times our Guru, at the beginning of a class or a service, he asked, "How is everybody?" And then everybody stayed awake and ready. He wanted to have a good start, that people don't fall asleep, but they are awake and receptive and ready to put into practice what he was teaching. So now, about a week ago, I asked in the office how many devotees have registered for this convocation. And I was told it's going to be 6,000. And I thought back in the beginning, many years ago, when we started at our Hollywood ashram. I think it was about 150 people. And then we finished the hall nearby. And for several years, we held the convocations in that hall, which holds maximum, I think, 200, 250. And upstairs we had the cafe, and I was working in a kitchen, and I was cooking the meals for the devotees. I wasn't a very good cook, but they ate it anyway. And so now, 6,000. And, in the beginning when I heard 6,000, I thought, you cannot take that in. It's statistics. But then coming out here and seeing you in flesh and blood and hearing you, and not only that, there's something more. There's a feeling, isn't it? It's a tidal wave. And that's overwhelming. That's very beautiful. And so when I say, I'm very happy to welcome you to this convocation, you have to read behind the word welcome, because human language is very limited. I welcome you in the name of our beloved President, Sri Dayamadaji, and all the monastics, and all those wonderful lay members, locally and some from outside, who have volunteered to help us to serve you during this week. And this convocation is very special. They're always special, isn't it? Because each one is better. And people say it is like being a week in heaven. But this one is special, extra special, not only because there's a larger number of devotees, but it is the centennial of our Guru's birth. And many have written to us and said it is not just coming to the convocation in order to receive inspiration or spiritual recharge, but I want to honor our Guru and deepest love and deepest gratitude for everything he has given us and is still giving us and will continue in the future to give us. Think back to the time before you came on the path. Where were you? And how were you? And none of us would be here, obviously, without him, isn't it? And so I really feel that he is here, that he is in our midst. And now I would like to, you're all looking at me, Anandamoy. So I would like to ask you to look around and see all the many devotees. And then realize that it is not just the devotees in this hall, there are 2 more halls, full to capacity. And they are connected with us through loudspeakers. They are connected with us through video screens. They are connected with us through the heart, right? And above all, they are connected with us through Master in our midst. Now, I want to tell you something. One time a man said to me, and he was very sad when he said it. He said, I never knew my real parents. I've been adopted. And I said, no problem. We have all been adopted. Our real father is the Heavenly Father, right? Our real mother is Divine Mother. We are children of God. And having been drawn to this path and to this Guru, who is an incarnation of God, makes it even more personal, more intimate. And now I want you to look around and you see those people that you see everywhere here. These are your soul brothers and your soul sisters, right? Give them a hand. Now you give them a hand. It's a family reunion. And all of us who have been traveling on lecture tours to meet with members in this country or in many other countries, we all came back and we said, same thing. It may have been a country where it was totally foreign, different language, different customs, different culture. And wherever we meet members, regardless where, it's family. It's family. There's a special vibration, which is Master who draws us all together. And so now I just want to very quickly say what we are going to do tonight is a very simple program. We start out with a devotional ceremony according to tradition in India, starting out with chanting. Kirtan group will lead, chanting to Master. And then we will have, I think a couple monks will blow the conch shells, tradition in India. And we are going to garland Master's picture. Malini Mata will garland it on behalf of Sri Dayamadaji, our president, and all the monastics, Self-Realization Fellowship, and of India, our work in India. And then we have a guest from India, Swami Shantananda. He is actually an American, but he has served our work in India for many years. And he will garland Master's picture on behalf of all the members of our work in India. Our work in India is growing rapidly because, even in India, the true teachings of the higher ages were lost during the Dark Ages. And that is why this special dispensation came, to bring the old, ancient truths to the world again. And then I will garland Master's picture on behalf of all of you and all the members of Self-Realization Fellowship. And then afterwards, Mrinalini Mata, who is our Vice President, will speak to us. And then hopefully she will introduce our beloved President, Sri Daya Mataji. And in closing, I want to say, now especially to those devotees who are not in this hall, don't think that Master is limited to this hall or to this picture. Master is one with God and He is omnipresent. And what we have to do, each one, really feel that He is in our midst and that He is in our hearts. And I want you to make a special effort to forget the world. Don't worry, when you get home, the world is still there. But this time now, during this week, no distractions, no maya, no delusion. Just concentrate on Master, on God, and on Master's teachings. And the more you do so, you will feel that this indeed, again, will hopefully for everyone be a week in heaven. And then if you make that effort to make that attunement, to open up, you will find that when this convocation is over, it is not over. Because you're taking the most important part with you. And what is that? It is God, it is the Guru, it is His teachings. So once again, I say a very, very warm welcome to each one of you. And may God and Guru deeply, deeply bless you. Jai Guru. Jai Guru.
Jai Guru, 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 Jai
beloved ones of God and our blessed Gurudev. This is, for me, certainly an overwhelming experience. I could not have dreamed in my wildest imaginations, and perhaps it is good that I couldn't have. When I came to Gurudev those many years ago as a young girl of 14 years old, the blessed years at his feet, receiving his training, that it would culminate in a day like this. I feel like I have just arisen from his feet, sitting at his feet, and walked into the midst of his divine worldwide family, of which he spoke, Lord, thou hast given this monk a large family. What would he call you today? An enormous family. This is such a joyous occasion when we think that our blessed Gurudev took incarnation 100 years ago. The world little knew what a divine one had come to bring his message of divine love and light, that with his overarching spirit, it would touch the far corners of the globe. And you all who have come here for this convocation to rejoice in that divine birth, because your lives have been touched by that life. You are the manifestation of that love. It is said that an institution is the lengthened shadow of a man. Today, to be politically correct, we would have to say of a man or a woman. Self-realization fellowship is indeed the extension of our blessed Gurudev's life. How often in his training of us, we saw how he gave of his life, of his joy, of his love, of his enthusiasm to build this institution for my benefit and for your benefit, creating a worldwide temple in which a crowd of souls could gather to drink deep of his love, of his wisdom, of his divine joy. Often in those years of training, when we saw how Gurudev gave so unstintingly of himself, and how much we received from that blessed Guru, personally, individually, and he was always encouraging us to do more and to do better. He set very high standards. Sometimes the devotees say, what was it like to be around the Guru? You must realize that an avatar who comes with a world mission, they set very high standards. They speak in absolutes. As Master used to say to us, and we would say, but Master, that's so difficult. He would say, if I said less, automatically people will do less anyway. The divine ones do have to speak to us in absolutes. But you get an avatar such as Paramahansa Yogananda, and you see how he took those absolutes, and by touching a heart with a deeper love for God. Those souls, no matter on what level we are, no matter on what road we are walking, we say, the Guru is speaking to me. He knows what I need. He came for me. As self-realization is the extension of Gurudev, he used to sometimes say to us in encouraging us to be more enthusiastic, and we would say, but Master, he would say how much we would do if you would all do as I have done. But Master, you are Yogananda. You know, that was a good excuse. Here we are, just little jailers. He looked at us, and with that power within his voice, that strength of conviction, and he said, the only difference between you all and the Yogananda is that I made the effort. That is what the Guru comes to do. Comes to stir us with a divine urge, a divine longing, an intensity, intensifying our sadhana, our efforts and our spiritual pursuits, that we may strive more perfectly to walk in the footsteps of that Yogananda. Why are we here tonight? Why am I here? Why are you here? Because something inside, something in your heart, something in your soul at some time, long ago or just now, has cried out, but I want to know God. I want to know how to know Him. An avatar such as our Blessed Master, with, as I said, that overarching spirit, he has reached out and heard the call of each one who is here in this vast convocation. Gurudev had such a complete personality in his human incarnation. He had such wisdom. More than wisdom, it was an understanding. Understanding comes, as the Bible said, in all thy getting, get understanding. Why? Understanding comes from intuition. Intuition is that voice of the soul, the all-knowing voice of God. It is what allows us to understand and to know ourselves. It is what allows us to understand and know our family, our neighbors, and our world. Gurudev once, because I had a mind, and he was encouraging the use of that mind. But one day he said to me, never argue with me. I didn't know I was arguing. Sometimes if he would say something, I might make a suggestion. Never argue with me. He said, because in your logical reasoning, you will lose much wisdom. That is a very basic tenet, that those who come to follow in the footsteps of the Guru be surrendered and be open, that wisdom may pass into you. As Guruji said, if you hold up a cup, a little cup, that cup will be filled. If you hold up a large vessel, that vessel will be filled. If you hold up yourself and you are emptied of your resistances, your ego, your bad habits, at least some of them, then you will be filled with the Guru. That's what is meant by being in tune with the Guru. And then Guruji had a wonderful sense of humor. He used to refer sometimes to God as the divine trickster. This whole drama that we are engaged in, this is all just a play of God. And Master, sometimes when he would see that we were taking life too seriously or our problems too seriously, he had a wonderful way of making us laugh. I was thinking when Swaminanda Moy was speaking, once Guruji had called me to do some duties, and when I came into his room, he looked at me and he said, he knew my parents very well. And he said to me, have you talked to your father lately? I said, no, Guruji, I haven't heard from him. Then you must meditate more. He was speaking of that Divine Father. You had to stay always in tune and very keen and alert around the Guru. He would be following your thoughts. But by those ways, though he was training and it was serious, he could always make us laugh and to make us feel that he was just the nearest and the dearest of divine friends. You couldn't ask for a father or a mother with more wisdom and more love and compassion, unconditional, than we felt from our Gurudev. And joy. His nature was one of divine bliss. Certainly he had to go through many trials. You who try to successfully run a business or successfully to look after your family will multiply that in an organization many, 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 many times. And those burdens, those problems, Guruji embraced so willingly. It was very, very rare that I ever saw him even look as though there was any problem that he had to deal with. And there were many, and I knew of them. But he was never moody, and he never allowed us to be moody. He never allowed us to have dark minds or negative thoughts around him. The reason why I'm telling you a few of these things about Guruji this week, because you will find if you keep your thoughts on this personality as someone personal, as someone who is by your side during this blessed week, you will feel, as he said, when I am gone. I was sitting at his feet one day, and he spoke of the time when he would no longer be in the body. And I felt I would just burst with sorrow at that moment. I couldn't conceive that there could be a day that my life could be without that divine presence. And he looked down at me and I said, "Oh, Master, take me with you." I'm very presumptuous. He shook his head. "I have the power to do so," he said, "but who will carry on my work?" He wasn't referring to just me, but to all those divine souls who were around the Blessed Guru at that time. And not only to them, as he said to us many times, many, many true devotees are yet to come. I know who they are. My dear ones, that is you. This work, Self-Realization Fellowship, the extension of the life of our blessed Gurudev, could not exist without you all. I was thinking before I came down here, yes, the organization is Master's extension, but the heart, the life, the heartbeat within that institution that gives it its life and that will always reflect the Blessed Guru, that will always keep him alive in this work, is each individual in this organization. It is your efforts in sadhana. It is your sincerity in seeking God. It is those tears that you shed for God when you meditate. It is the joy and upliftment that you feel when you read and study Gurudev's words. It is the kindness and the love of the Guru that you share with one another, with your families, with all those with whom you come in contact. That, my dear ones of Blessed Master, that is his heartbeat in this organization. That is his life. That is his spirit. And as long as that is there, in even one or a few, there will be a self-realization fellowship. And the greater that crowd of souls is that is drawn to the Blessed Guru's feet by God himself. We could not be here, Guruji said, unless God had drawn you. He never considered any disciple his own. That is what makes him so unique among teachers, because of his complete selflessness, that lack of ego. How it used to thrill me because you could see it. You were around Gurudev. Yes, he had a wonderful personality and that closeness that he allowed you to feel with him. But there was also that divinity. And when he would say, Yogananda I killed long ago, 'tis only he in this body temple. We knew that. We could feel that. I used to think, being raised in the Christian orthodoxy, so to speak, I often wondered really what Christ was like. He was always made to be someone so far off, untouchable, unreachable. And after being around Gurudev, I thought, this is truly what the divine ones are like. He used to say that when a liberated soul takes incarnation, he takes on that role in the divine drama. He becomes a human being so that we can relate to that personality. So that we would know how to behave. Guruji, I wanted to tell you that. Guruji set the example. He didn't need to meditate. All he needed to do was to close his eyes, and we would see how he would just go deep, deep into samadhi. The world, everything would be lost to him, and just this divine radiance of love and joy would glow from his being. And yet you never saw Guruji retire at night or begin his day without doing his energization exercises and without meditation. I remember one time at the desert where he had retired in those last years to work on his writings. I was called into his room. I brought his breakfast and I said, Master, it looks like it's going to be cloudy. He used to like to go and sit outside in the sun in the morning. I said, Master, it looks like it's going to be cloudy. You may want to quickly go out. He said, take the food away. Go away. I first have to have my meditation. That was the example that he set. The little turtles used to come there every morning. They had to wait also for the Guruji to finish his meditation before they could have their food. That example he set. And he used to make us every day we would have to study. He used to say to all of us, "You must know my teachings backward and forward." You will find, if you absorb, that you will always have there the guidance that you need when you need it. You must make the acquaintance of God in the summertime of life. Otherwise, when suddenly this winter storm will hit you, you won't find that divine presence with you. Dear ones, that's why we have come this week. To, in a deeper way, and drawing from the strength and the inspiration and the joy of one another, to feel that attunement with Guru and to make a deeper commitment of our lives to walking in those divine footsteps. I opened something of Gyanamata's book, God Alone. I just opened the book and it came to this letter she had written to Master, and I want to share just a part of it with you. She had such a beautiful understanding of the guru-disciple relationship. She wrote to him, "I lift my eyes to your divine life and contemplate it. As Jesus went up to Jerusalem to be crucified, so you came here and have been crucified upon a cross of suffering as well. All this you endure." I have often thought that, even while Gurudev was with us, to think one who is liberated, one who has been freed from the harassment of this drama and is in that ever new infinite joy of eternity. That's such a one. What tremendous love must be in the heart of such a soul to say, "All right, my Father, my beloved God, I leave this and I come down to this imperfect vibratory realm." As he wrote in the autobiography, the problems of an organization, the students that couldn't be taught, the teachers that couldn't teach, was it all worth it? And he thought and said, yes, 1,000 times yes. That is our avatar. That is our Gurudev, that he had the love for us to come down to where we are and take both of his hands to help lift us up. As I watch, as I see you waking, eating, working, dreaming, sleeping, serving, meditating, chanting, divinely loving, I watch you going back and forth every week from Encinitas to Los Angeles to give the Sunday services. Though this must surely take its toll on your body, I see you giving interviews to those who come to you for help, denying yourself to none, inspiring, comforting, reproving, and uplifting the fallen and the sorrowful. No opportunity to extend the work is overlooked by you. I see that wherever the rain of your heavenly vibrations fall, flowers of marvelous beauty spring up. Diseases are healed. Rest and peace are substituted for pain. There are countless people who never realize from whom health and prosperity have come. Your brain, tongue, heart are ceaselessly busy sowing the seeds of faith, understanding, and aspiration, where darkness and ignorance reigned supreme before. Your beloved voice, inspiring the hopeless and the weary. Your blessed energies, bringing light out of darkness and order out of confusion, working tirelessly on the erection of a world city, one not made with hands, but eternal in the heavens. That is the joy, the love that we are bringing to the Guru during this wonderful centennial year. We have come to receive, and receive we shall in abundance. But let us also give. Let us give to that Gurudev that reverence and appreciation that he has more than merited by even the slightest touch upon our lives. Let me conclude with just a few lines from the Guru's prayer for all self-realizationists. Father, thou alone art the King sitting on the throne of my heart. May I always remember not myself but thee. All those who come to me, bless them. As thou hast given me the will, strength, and power to bring other souls back to thy grace, those who have wandered, brothers and sisters straying on the pathway of incarnations, make me the transparent medium through which thy light enters their hearts, dispelling darkness forevermore. Help me to spread thy message. I want to extol not myself but thee. Be thou the speaker through my voice. May my will always express thy will. Be thou the only desire behind all my desires. All thy devotees who come to me, I offer at thy feet. Change them, Father. Do for them as thou wilt. Not my wish, but thine, for thou art the Lord of my heart. Be thou the one life guiding me, giving me the soul longing to place thee in the hearts of all thy devotees thou hast sent me. May thy greatest blessing be that they remain constantly with thee. In wakeful hours and in time of sleep and dreams, with thee ever through eternity, and feeling thy presence even in this dream of incarnation. Be thou alone the King, reigning in their hearts. May I rouse that love in the hearts of others, that they see thy presence behind the delusions of this life. The greatest gift I have to bestow on those I love, thy devotees, is awakening thy love in their hearts for thy love's sake. Gurudev once said, each minute of life should be a divine quest. The burning question in our hearts should always be, when shall I find thee, O Lord? That quest will find a great blessing in the Guru's love and in God's grace during this week. If with your deepest joy, love, sincerity, understanding and openness, not rationalizing, but opening up the little self to receive fully what the Guru shall strive this week to pour into you. And in this special centennial year, give also to the Guru. Feel that deep devotion, gratitude, and love overflowing from your heart to lay at his feet. That is what makes you, allows you to be open to that blessed Guru. As he said, I prefer a soul to a crowd, but I love crowds of souls. He used to refer to the groups of devotees who would come as a bouquet of souls, that it was his great joy to lay at the feet of God. I remember once when I said that in a class, and I added, so none of us wants to be a wilted blossom in that bouquet. I had more notes after that class. Devotees saying, I have determined to make greater effort because I don't want to be in that beautiful bouquet that Guruji will lay at the feet of God. I don't want to be a wilted one. So, dear ones, each moment of life must be that divine quest for God. And this convocation, this centennial rejoicing at the feet of our Guru, is a wonderful time to renew the enthusiasm and the dedication to that quest. It is my greatest joy, if Ma is here, to say that she will come to officially open the convocation with her blessing and her love. We have seen these many years, certainly Guruji had much to carry with the organization during his lifetime. And Ma has done what you cannot conceive long after most of the world has gone, to take some rest from the travails. Our beloved Ma is there in her meditations and in her prayers for the guidance of Guruji's work, and above all, for the blessing of you all who have shown such dedication to Gurudev and to his society. You wonderful, wonderful heartbeat of Master. I feel it beating in my own heart tonight. And now, if our beloved Ma, is she here? Jai Guru. I must go.
Please be seated. I'm going to sit, so please all sit. Well, that's nice for you to say at the beginning. That's very sweet of you, and you know that my heart is with every one of you. I always remember Guruji's words one evening when I said, Master, how will we carry on without you? And of course you all know this. It is really the theme of his life. And with such sweetness he said, when I have left this world, only love can take my place. And then he went on to say, be so drunk with the love of God that you won't know anything else but God. That isn't meant just for those who have left the world. That is meant for the world. But I'm going to get into that on another occasion. I am just here to greet you all and to tell you how pleased I am to see you. and to officially open this great event, the 100-year centennial of our beloved Paramahansa Yogananda. You know, so many of you had asked to see me, and it became impossible to satisfy all of you. So I said the only thing to do is to go down and to greet you all. I'm going to take a moment to pay tribute to each one of you, not as individuals, though you take it as that, but in different countries, and you will be amazed who you are. Algeria is here. Devotees from Argentina are here. Austria is here. Belgium and Brazil are here. Devotees from Canada and Chile are here. From Colombia and Denmark and the Dominican Republic, and from Ecuador, from England, and from the Federal Republic of Germany, and from the little Fiji Islands. What do you think of that? I'm coming to the rest of you, and from France, from Guatemala, from Honduras and Hong Kong, and from my beloved India, and from Ireland and Israel and Italy and Jamaica, and also from Japan, from Kenya, from the Leeward Islands, wherever you are. I must get a globe so I will know where some of these, and from Liberia and Malaysia and Mexico and the Netherlands, New Zealand and Northern Ireland, and from Norway and the Panama and Peru and the Philippines, and from Portugal and Singapore, Saudi Arabia, Scotland and South Africa, Spain and the Sultanate of Oman, from Sweden and Switzerland, from Trinidad and Tobago, and from the United States, from Venezuela, from Wales, and again from the Windward Islands, wherever you are. When I get home, I will ask them to bring me a map. But this is to pay tribute to all of you. Have I missed anybody? Huh? Oh my goodness. Australia? We're all one. The ideal of Guruji is there is one God, there is one intelligence, there is one power, there is one love. And it doesn't matter what our outer form is. These are houses that we live in for a little while, but that soul is one. Not one soul is different from another, because all are made in the image of God. And there's a wonderful thing, and that's what impressed me so much about Guruji many, many years ago. A wonderful thing that he encouraged everyone to come together like this. This is what is meant by a united world. And we must hold to that spirit and take it back to our nations wherever we are and do our part in creating that, doing away with all of these little likes and dislikes. The important thing is to live with that concept that you are a soul, you are my brother, you are my sister, because we're both made in the image of God. What drew me to Master? I was brought up in a religion where everything was so pious and everybody was so solemn. And I couldn't play hopscotch on Sundays, and I couldn't use roller skates as a child on Sundays. And everything was very, very solemn. I thought, oh, this is not, why can't I roller skate? Why can't I play hopscotch? These things bothered me. That's right. I love your spontaneity. Keep it up. That's what life is all about. That's what God is all about. You know, there's a saying, a sad saint is a bad saint. I believe very much in laughter. I think it's the very essence of life. because God is laughter, God is love, and God is joy. We're all made in that image, and let's reflect it. Yes, life gets difficult at times, but let's drown that out by loudly chanting God, God, God in the midst of all our difficulties, and then we will come through them. I wanted to say just a word. This is the centennial year, and many major events took place in those 100 years. The greatest of which, for followers of Paramahansa Yogananda, was his birth 100 years ago in India. That was one of the great events of that age. And after that came his training, his meeting his great teacher. That was another great event in our lives. When he came in contact with that blessed teacher, and under his guidance, under his tutelage, his discipline, his loving discipline, he became Paramahansa Yogananda. Then it comes to another important part in his life, when he was sent by that great teacher and by Babaji to the West, because, as I said, many, many souls are hungering for this great truth. And so he left those shores of India, wanting to go back again, but he left to represent his country, his beliefs, the great science of Raja Yoga, the great science of yoga. And at that time, he was so well received that, as you well know, he was encouraged to remain in this country. And during that time, he traveled throughout the United States. And then one day, he landed in this city of angels. And by the way, it must get back to that again. We must all do our part. Then he landed in the city of angels, found that great and loving home on top of Mount Washington. And there he began to draw devotees around him, one of whom was Dayamata, along with many others. That was the beginning of what he wanted to accomplish. He wanted to establish something that would be firmly rooted, not only in this country, but also that it might serve throughout the world. And that was another great time or period in his life. And after he had served here for a while, he returned to his beloved India, called back because his Guru had said, "Come now if you wish to see me in this body." He reached India, he spent time with that blessed Guru of his, and during his stay there, his Guru departed this world. He returned to this country and served for many years, as Mrinalini Maha said, speaking, conducting his services in the various temples, lecturing before various groups, and at the same time giving strict but loving guidance to his devotees. His ideal was that if this work is to last, then I must give them the same discipline that my Guru gave me. I am looking for souls who are ready to lay down their lives out of their love for God, that they do it willingly, freely. That doesn't mean that those who come with that spirit are any better than those who fight the tough war in the world. But there were some who were ready for that role. And out of that, the work began to grow as he had it in mind. Then the momentous time came for him to depart his body. He had said, as I have told you before, "When I leave this world, only love can take my place." When some of you go to Mount Washington, as you go to the shrine, which formerly Guruji's rooms, you will see on the right side, right? Yes, on the right side of the wall, a large yarn portrait of his Guru. He used to walk down that hall every day, and then he would stop always before the likeness of his Guru, and he would pranam, And he would stand there perhaps 1 minute or 5 minutes, very quietly. And we all just stood back and waited for him to walk on to his rooms. And one day, as I was walking by his side, he was giving me some guidance, some instructions about the work. And he turned to me and he said, "Do you know it is just a matter of hours and I will be gone?" My body shook with the shock of that news. And tears filled my eyes, and I said, Master, you are like the diamond. We're just the ring. How will this work go on without that diamond presence of your consciousness, of your example? And it was then that he said, remember this, when I have left this world, only love can take my place. Let that always be the theme of Self-Realization Fellowship. And the very fact that all of you are here and you all respond to that love, and I do feel it from you, and I hope you feel it coming from all of us to you. It is a mutual exchange. And now we come then to what did he teach? And that's what I want to talk about the next time I come to be with you. This is just an opportunity to bring to you the love and greetings of my soul and of all those devotees who are here to serve you and to exchange that divine fellowship. Guruji gave his organization the name Self-Realization Fellowship. Realization of the self, which is a part of God, and fellowship with all those who, like you, are seeking God. Fellowship with mankind. Dear ones, in these coming days, you will have an opportunity to review all of the teachings of Gurudev. You will have an opportunity to meditate with others so that you will be able to go back to your homes with a deeper understanding of the science of Kriya Yoga. And to all of you, though you come from different parts of the world, I am happy that all of this is being translated into your own language. That pleases me very much. And I look forward to being with you again toward the latter part of these meetings. And in the meantime, all my love, my divine friendship and goodwill go to every one of you. I love you, and I mean it. You are Master's family, and because you are his family, I am your servant. And I touch each one of you with my love and my friendship. And to all of you who are in other rooms, let me not forget you. Aren't there some in other rooms? Well, greetings to all of you, wherever you are. I didn't forget you. Let us all pray together. Heavenly Father, Mother, friend, my beloved God, Jesus Christ, Bhagavan Krishna, Mahavatar Babaji, Lahiri Mahashaya, Swami Sri Yukteswar Ji, and you, my Guru, Paramahansa Yogananda, saints of all religions, I bow to you all. O Divine Mother, bless my life, that with these coming days I may cultivate a deeper awareness of thy presence in myself and among my loved ones. Bless me, O Mother. May thy love shine forever on the sanctuary of my devotion. And may I be able to awaken thy love in all hearts. Make my soul thy temple. Make my heart thy altar. Make my love thy home. Bless me. Bless me. Amen. May God bless you all.